Carmelo Anthony. That's the main topic. That's the main topic. But the first question is, does black privilege exist? Like how what comes to your mind if somebody asked you that? How would you respond to
My response to that would be like privileges exist across all races, creeds, like because when we're talking about privilege, that's basically saying somebody has an advantage or immunity
that? Mm,
based on some attribute. So since we looking at United States, let's say United States is a capitalistic structure, right?
yeah.
And
Yeah.
we got a caste system inside of that. Now, black people were at the bottom of that caste system. Now we got the illegal immigrants there at the bottom. But even inside of whatever group you belong to, you got privilege,
Mm,
right?
yeah.
Because think about the fact that back in so the 13th Amendment freed us, right? The 14th Amendment granted us citizenship. Then we come and we get the right to vote. But the right to vote was a privilege bestowed upon black men in 1870. Women, white women, didn't get the right to vote until 1920. And
Yeah.
then black women got the right to vote years after that, a decade after that. But so privilege exists in the black community because we know it exists because we talk about it tongue in cheek because we're like you light skinned, so you already know how they're gonna look at you
Yeah. Yeah.
because we say that a lighter skinned person has more privileges than a dark skinned person. So if we saying does privilege exist in the black community, yeah, I say privilege exists in all communities. But when we start talking about blacks versus whites,
Mm,
our privilege does not exist on the level. Their privilege trumps ours. I'll say that.
okay. Even today, even in today's time with this political climate.
There's never been a time that black privilege has
Mm,
exceeded white privilege. And that's shown to us all the time because if you look at Jonathan Majors, if you look at Shannon Sharp, that lets you know that white privilege will always trump black privilege because
mm,
those two black men being at the level that they were at, being brought down by basic
mm,
white women, lets you know that you could be at the top of the black privilege scale,
yeah.
but even being at the top of the black privilege scale, you still are below the lowest person on the white privilege scale. It's kind of like the military. The highest enlisted person in the military is still lower ranking than the lowest officer in the military.
Okay. Okay. With this Carmelo Anthony situation, do you feel like Carmelo Anthony should go to jail, do some time, or do you feel like it was self defense and
I feel like it was self defense. I feel like he shouldn't go to jail. Um, but now that's the black side of me speaking, right? Because
okay.
I'm basing that off the fact that uh, Kyle Rittenhouse was able to go to Kenosha, Wisconsin, and shoot them people with the gun with an assault rifle and get off, right? So
Mm,
so it's kind of
heard
like
about that. Yeah.
during my time when OJ got off, people celebrated. Black people celebrated, and they weren't necessarily celebrating him getting off away with the crime. They were celebrating the fact that a black person was able to get something that was only available to white people back in the day.
Mm,
That's how they looked at it. So if it's one of those, if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander type situations. Because how can when the Kyle Rittenhouse thing occurred, most of us was like, how in the world can you just pick up an assault rifle that you're not supposed to have because you're underage? Go to a place basically to try to antagonize somebody
Mm.
and then when they do it, kill them, and then you get off.
But he killed white people, right? He didn't kill black people. He killed white people.
Yeah, he killed white people. But here's the thing: when we talk about privilege, even if you go back to the abolitionist movement, whenever you align yourself with black people, then your privilege
Mm.
goes away.
Damn, there you
Because if we
go.
look at what happened at the Edmund Pettus Bridge, like there were preachers that got killed, but you got killed because you aligned yourself with black people. So
Mm.
it's like we say your black card revoked. They privilege card was revoked because they aligned themselves with the black cause.
So he, I heard it was three people approaching him. Somebody grabbed the barrel and he popped. Do you think that's Do you think that's fair to compare that to what Carmelo did?
From what I've heard about the Carmelo story, I think it's a fair comparison because uh, Carmelo was at a track meet. Now I ran track back in high school, and the story that I heard, he was at a track meet. It started raining. The coach said, "You can get up under this tent." He got up under the tent, and then he was basically accosted by these two brothers, and he defended himself. Now,
Mm.
when I ran track, if it started raining, like there's a camaraderie that exists in the track community
Mm.
because we talk, we interact. You know what I'm saying? We competitors, but we would talk and interact. So if it started raining, I'm getting up under a tent. I'm not gonna run across the field to get up under a tent. I'm getting under the first available tent. And if the coach co-signed on that, then what? Why are you talking to me?
So the coach was there? I'm confused.
The story that I saw from the news reports, a coach from that school said that he could get up under that tent.
But
I mean,
he
think about
didn't try to stop the
you if you're
altercation?
an adult.
Yeah.
Now I don't know about the altercation. I don't know how long the altercation. I don't know all the details of what transpired.
Mm-hmm.
One of the stories I saw said that a coach authorized him to get under the tent,
Mm.
right? But you know it's gonna be numerous stories.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
again, I say I ran track, and so you know there's been times where coaches on other teams, like I usually run a mile and a 2 mile. I've run and been extremely exhausted after my race, and another team's coach would be like, you can get some Gatorade out of our." You just man, I know you're tired. You can get some Gatorade out of our. So that's like if I was going over there, the coach just told me I can get some Gatorade, and I go over there to get some Gatorade, and two cats run up on me talking about slap the cup out of my hand. Yeah, it's going down.
Mm. Mm.
And I also heard that it wasn't at school. It was like off school property.
Mm.
So that's what I heard. I don't know the exact details, but
Yeah.
you know how the rumor mill.
Yeah, they say it's a lot of misinformation out there. I I still think maybe he could have just fought him though. Like I think just
With
stabbing.
if I pull my knife out, I am fighting you.
Mm. Mm.
Like if the roles were reversed and the white kids beat Carmelo and he died, then what? Because
Mm.
you know, based upon your physical stature, you can inflict severe damage upon somebody and you can kill them. And you
Mm.
know, we have murder one, two, whatever. You can kill somebody without intending to kill him or
Mm.
them. And I
Okay.
don't think Carmelo intended to kill them, you know, but that's what you find out in the court of law. Even with the Rittenhouse in Kenosha, Wisconsin, he said he shot to defend himself and to get out of that situation.
Yeah.
His intent was not to kill them.
Right.
So that's where the law, however, like the law tends to side on the side of Caucasians more so than African Americans, especially when it's Caucasian versus African American.
Yeah. I So okay. As me being a young man, I don't think my parents or my grandparents would be like, "Hey, take a knife and stab somebody if they approach you. I don't think like that would be like, the thing. It would be like you maybe pick up something and knock them out or something, but not
You can
grabbing a
kill him.
knife
You
and
can kill him.
stabbing them.
You can kill him that way.
Yeah, you can, you
Hey,
can. But
look, and
we
your parents and grandparents grew up there. Look, I got something from your grandparents too. And I'm gonna tell you, like it wasn't no holds barred. You handle your business.
okay.
You come home and we'll sort all that out later. But
Mm,
what we don't want to do is come and have to be sitting over top of your grave because you was like, well, I'm just gonna sit on my hands because I'm gonna allow them to just do whatever they want to do to me.
mm. But it don't sound like they wanted to fight though. It sounded like they just wanted him to move and scare him. It don't seem like because it seemed like if that's what they wanted to do, they would have did that. You know,
They would have did what?
fought him, like beat him up, try to beat him up.
So here's the thing with being black in America. At what point in time do we give somebody the ability to say, "I'm going to trust that you're not going to kill me"?
Mm.
So like Anthony, you familiar with Anthony Stinney?
No, no. Tell me about Anthony Stinney.
So Anthony Stinney, he was the youngest person to be executed. They basically said that he had raped and killed two little white girls, and they took him to jail and basically gave him ice cream, beat him up, and said, "Hey, just go ahead and confess. It's gonna be all right."
Mm.
So where's the trust over time? And he was 14 years old. Where's the trust over time that we've developed to be like, let me just go and take this ass whipping from these two white boys because
Mm.
it's just gonna be, there's too many examples of how we've been like come up on the short end of the stick in that regards. Ahmaud Arbery, Emmett Till, like we, I'm not taking a chance.
So you
When I
looking
was
at
young, I
it,
wasn't taking a chance. I'm
you
not gonna take
looking
that
at it
chance.
like it was like it was like a racist play. Like they ran up on them on some racist shit. Like if it was a white boy, they wouldn't have did it.
Yeah, why y'all come up on me like this? If that's how the story went down, why are y'all accosting me? Uh, Get out of my space.
Mm. Mm. There you go. There you go. Well,
But that's
look,
my take on it.
there you go, man. Thank you for coming in. If you still got some free time afterwards, I definitely want to get you back on, man. I gotta make these calls longer. I'm doing too much with that. But I like where you coming from. I like where you coming from. I can't really refute it. It sounds like self defense when you put it that way, but then it's like I grew up fighting people bigger than me, so I never looked at it like I had to kill them. You know.
But
But I'm.
we're talking about intent. Did he intend to kill
Mm,
him or did he intend to get him up off of? If you're already 100 pounds more than me, you already have a physical advantage.
mm,
So your punches could kill me, result in death to me if I'm 100 pounds less than you.
okay.
So
Maybe
I bring
probably
in something.
probably. Yeah. I
Yeah,
just never thought about dying while fighting. Like I always felt like there would be like a freak accident. I never thought about it as I'm finna fight this guy. But I guess, but that's just me though. A lot of people probably fight like they finna die, like whatever it
yeah,
go.
but I doubt very seriously if Carmelo is a Navy SEAL and trained to know exactly where to hit somebody and kill them.
Okay,
People
that's a good
get
point.
people get stabbed all the time. I've got my great uncle. He They used to have hook bill knives, and he slapped a man, and the man cut him across his stomach with a hook bill knife, and basically disemboweled him. He had to
Mm,
hold his intestines in his hand, and they put a 5 gallon mop bucket up under him, so they got him to the hospital to get him stitched up. He didn't die. So again, we go back to he necessarily didn't intend to kill them. He
yeah.
he wanted to get them off of him.
Mm,
People get stabbed all the time.
there you go. Look, we gonna end it on that. People get stabbed all the time. Just another day in
They get
America.
stabbed all the time. Yes, indeed.
There you go. Thank you for coming on, man. Hop in the chat if you
My
want to.
pleasure.
Keep watching, man, and hey, we definitely gonna get you back on.
All right, young brother.
All right,
Later.
later. That was Mr. Love.